Alright guys, just a little bit of a disclaimer before I show the video. I was trying to figure out how the best way to film this, but with as little time as I have within the video, because it is going to be a long one, I'm going to decide that I'm just going to be commentating on it, like what I did good, what I didn't do good at some cases. I'm going to speed up the videos up just a little bit and then cut out the audio because there's a lot of intake and it would just be a lot of jumbled up mess when it came to all the sounds. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. It was a great time. I hope you guys get interested in doing some with your community and get prepared for future cups coming up. It's a really fun way to get to know your community and to show off what you can do as a trainer. And I hope you guys like the video. Enjoy. Okay, welcome to my speed run of what happened during the Sinister Cup. My first opponent was Blue Yak Gamer, which evidently, oddly enough, is my brother. And we had a good matchup. I put the Pokemon teams up above each player, just to help you guys know what's going on. But first round is Marowak against Primeape, and I had a slight advantage with my Nightshade, but I got a couple hits. I got that one hit off. That started off pretty well. And I decided to swap out since I was higher health already. I would try to tie him up with my Marowak and see if I could take him out. But I already used one of my shields by doing that. And I'm about to use my Bone Club. I'm pretty sure he uses his shield. Yep, which gives him slight advantage, but I'm just trying to take off his health just with my quick moves. I'm going to save up my charge moves, I believe. I can't remember exactly what I did. This happened again like a week and a half ago. So he ends up using 2 attacks in a row. And I think I cave. Yeah, I cave into using my final shield. So now I'm down to no shields. He has still 2 guys left. He throws out a Steelix. And I got all my guys left. At first I thought I had an advantage with Empoleon, but then as soon as he threw out that Raichu, I knew that I was done for up against him. And without any more time, and without a possibility of switching, there was no way I'd last. I ended up switching. Oh no, my guy died. Okay, Empoleon died. Then I bring out my Marowak to hopefully get a little bit of an advantage. I decided instead of going with the Bone Club on that one though to go with Shadow Ball because it's a real stabber. It easily takes me out with Crunch in the end there too. And then we're down to our final ones, I believe. No, he still has his. I think he still has his Marowak still. No, it's down to our last ones, and he still takes me out. That's 1 out of 3. And the things with these tournaments is it is best 2 out of 3, but they made an update to it where you can decide as opponents to do a third one just to help you get more specified in the ranking of the tournament. And again, we throw out our Marowaks, well, I throw out my Primeape to now, and then he decides to one-up me with his Hitmonchan. I decided to throw my shield up because I don't know exactly what could be coming. Power-up Punch is going to power up regardless, so I'm in a dangerous spot. But I have my shield, I have my charge move ready, and he shields that. And it just comes down to the little bit of who has the most attack, and because he used the power-up punch, he gets that little extra boost there. I decided to just throw out Marowak to start just taking him down one little bit at a time with a quick move. And I know that his power-up punch is not going to do too much against me, so that works to my advantage. And again, Marowak versus Marowak, he's about to use it. I don't remember if I end up not using my shield, and that was probably not the best move for me. I put Giraffreg in the game, or in my roster, just for the sake of a good ghost type, like Haunter. Haunter is a big motivator for any team who's in this tournament, and so I was hoping that I would at least face a Haunter at some point during this tournament, but no one that I faced had one, which is kind of sad to say that I probably shouldn't have brought my Giraffreg again since that was the case. But it's always better to be safe. And then he's probably going to take me out with a Crunch. Yep. And there we go. He wins the 2 out of 3. And we both decide that we're going to do a third one. So we end up doing that. And let's see I can't remember what the starters are. Drifblim and Marowak again. All right. And already I'm at a slight disadvantage because he already swaps out and swaps to his Probopass because his Probopass is actually terrifying. Actually, any Probopass is terrifying since it gives the electric quick move and also it's Thunderbolt, I believe. Oh, and I guess Rock Slide too is a really scary thing to face up against. And I decided to switch out, give my Steelix a try, because he has electric moves, charge moves, and rock charge moves, which both are not good against Steelix. So I have a slight advantage there. But unless I can get another move off, it's not going to do too much. I end up trying to do the Earthquake, but I'm pretty sure he also shields this. Yeah. And from here on now, it's just like who can take each other down. But he swaps out and chooses Marowak again, which brings both of us to it at both an advantage and disadvantage against each other. He ends up using all of his shields. I got one left, and we both have all of our 3 still in the game. And I end up using my shield too. So now we're both shieldless, both full teams, but each one has a good amount of health taken off each one. And he ends up defeating Steelix there. Here was a hard one. I decided to go with Drifblim, just to have the ghost advantage. I think I decided to do Shadow Ball. I didn't quite see that. Ominous Wind, just to try to go for the stat boost, but it doesn't get it. And right here it looks like a close match because we both have 2 Pokemon left. And there we go, my disadvantage right there with no shields, and he uses Rock Slide. I'm gone. And then my Empoleon. At first I thought, great, this is going to be good, but then I forget. He has his second charge move. So he just tags me. And I thought I could, now he freeze up, and I thought I could just get one more move off, but as soon as he pops his Raichu in, I'm out. And that stops our streak. Well, not stops our streak. He won 3 out of 3, which gives me a loss out of the tournament so far. This next dude is pretty fun. He had a good matchup too with his Poliwrath, Alolan Marowak, Mawile, Steelix, Gallade, and Bronzong. I could already tell by the typings though that he was going to be very weak to fighting types. So I, for one, every time I faced him, I would for sure put in my Primeape without hesitation. And I didn't know what I was going to do against his Poliwrath because I didn't have too many counters. My best ones would probably be either my Primeape or Girafarig, but that was pretty much it. Other than that, is all downhill from there. Yeah, so he's down to no shields. I have 1 shield left and take down one of my guys. It could still be anyone's game from here. I end up using my shield because I'm afraid of what he knows or what kind of charge moves he has. Even though dark type moves aren't good against fighting, I still do it because I know it's going to take him out. And I might as well. And easily another dark move against a ghost type, going to take that. And Night Slash actually turned out to be a very, very helpful charge move when it comes to Primeape in the Sinister Cup. Helped out a ton. Flamewheel takes me out. Here got a little bit worrisome because I don't know if he has the Bone Club on him, but I continue to take him out easily with the Crunch attack. And this is where whenever it was Steelix against Steelix, it got really not so naggy because it didn't last too long, but every time it was a Steelix versus Steelix, it really came down to, okay, what moves do we have, and how are we both going to shield even though we both have no shields? I'm not sure if he had Earthquake or not. Heavy Slam, I think he has Heavy Slam and Crunch. So right there already he's at a disadvantage when it comes to Steelix versus Steelix. But I decided to give him my Crunch move just to end it off quicker because Earthquake does take a little longer to power up. And I get my first win out of the 3 there. So it's turned out really good. So right now things are looking way better than when I was facing my brother. Another thing I should let you guys know is I stopped playing Pokemon because I took a break for about like 2 years, and I ended off with my last game I played was Black and White 2. The next game after that came out when I was during my break is when Fairy types were introduced. So the whole concept of like what Pokemon are Fairy types and what are their like disadvantages and advantages against certain types, it kind of blew me out of the water, or not really blew me out of the water, it just left me hanging. I wasn't sure as to what could help, especially if it was a dual type with Mawile being a steel and fairy type. right off the top of my head. Even right now, I can't even think of the best counters, but I'm still learning. But I knew for sure it's still my biggest MVP for this fight was going to be Primeape, regardless. So I'm going to swap to him over and over again, especially with that Mawile, Steelix, and Bronzong. The Gallade, I had very little. Again, I had a good team set. I had my Alolan Marowak, my Drifblim, and my Girafarig for my counters, but Girafarig wouldn't have been the best one to go with it. Gallade being Psychic fighting, and Psychic is just neutral to him. And just like that, these matches were ending a little bit faster than I expected. He was such a good champ, though. And again, Primeape against Mawile, and I'm still trying to understand what typings are good against him. So I know Fairy is weak against Dark. I can't remember. Well, no, it's just neutral. But I continue to use as much of the Night Slash as I can, but only close combats when absolutely necessary. I think this might be the part where he throws out. No, he doesn't throw out Bronzong just yet. But I swapped to Drifblim just to get. Oh wait, and instantly, right there, you can see my face. That was a bad move for me because he knows the Ice Punch, which I evidently block. I think during this whole fight, I just decided to use both of my shields. I think. I just hate those moments where it's and I got a stat boost, perfect. And I hate those points in the match where I plan to switch out, but I switch too fast, not knowing what the opponent already knows. Because I knew he knew Ice Punch. But as soon as I swapped out the Drifblim, it was the end of me. Another Night Slash just to end it off, because Primeape is at very low health, so I might as well get one off. It takes me down to 1. Now this is where it gets intense. I have 1 up against 2. I have 1 shield left, and he has no shields. I easily take down this Poliwrath just by my quick moves, my Steelix knows Dragon Tail, which is the best one for him, which he does know too. Earthquake should take it down more than halfway. Oh yeah, easily into the red. All right, we have no more shields, and I know he doesn't know Earthquake, so I'm going to take that Heavy Slam, which isn't very effective. At this point, I'm really trying to contemplate if I really wanted to use that charge move or not, but it ended up working for me in the end. So, very cool. This is actually kind of funny because as soon as we beat because now I'm 1-1. My brother beat me and I beat him once, but because of the randomized roster, we get paired up again to fight immediately right after, which I felt comfortable. I didn't know how he felt. I probably got a little bit too comfortable. Oh yeah, here comes his Bronzong, finally. And this is probably where I get a little nervous because I'm like, oh shoot, he threw out something I wasn't ready for. But this guy, oh wow, we both go down together. I forgot about that. Never mind. I won't say what I was about to say. It's just one of these fights where I get nervous because I don't have any moves that are good against Poliwrath. But I know for sure he has that move, which actually is neutral. I forgot Ice isn't good against Steel. Right there, I was trying to use my charge move, but he beat me to the punch, literally. And it slowly becomes us just chiseling each other down. There we go. I beat his team, and now it's 1-0 in just this battle alone. But I'm tied in the ranking when it comes to... I'm even in the ranking when it comes to the tournament's win-loss ratio. This, I don't know what I was doing. I thought for sure I would just stick with Primeape, but I ended up just trying to get a little bit too cocky and just try out another team, which, spoiler alert, ends up being my demise in this round. Decided to get the crunch off since it's quicker. And he blocks it. Mawile comes out. At first I'm like, I got this. I'll save up more power for Earthquake and take him out right there. Just like that, just how I predicted. And here comes the dreaded Poliwrath again. I think by this time he knows not to use Ice Punch. I think, yeah. He knows not to use Ice Punch because Power Up Punches is going to boost his attack, which works up in his advantage, or works up in the end for him. There's not really much I can do with my moveset with Steelix. I decide not to shield there. It's always best not to shield when your Pokemon's HP is already so low, because it's a waste of a shield, as to when like your Pokemon is very full of health. And that ends up being like the great moment for Girafarig, like its only great moment. It's just facing off. I don't know why it didn't swap for me. I tried swapping. But this ends up being my demise. I use my final shield. He's a Psychic, which blows right through me. And I'm punching, and there we go. He wins. I knew just from there, him having the Psychic charge move, I was out of there. So now it becomes tied 1-1 between just the two of us in this round. The final one, I tell myself, okay, I don't know what I was trying to do there. Don't know what I was trying to prove with my Girafarig, and like, would I use Alolan? No, I used Girafarig, Primeape, and Steelix, but I decided to change up the lineup. Instead of going with Girafarig first, I go up with Primeape being my MVP for against this team. But right now, I'm in a really tight spot. I'm actually getting really scared at this point, because I'm like, shoot, he's really going to pull this to his gain. But my game freezes up. I let him know that, and he still ends up beating me, which, pretty honest, was pretty fair. This one, I'm not too scared about his Poliwrath, because he's already so low, and I have one shield, he has one shield. And I end up not pulling this shield off because I'm such high health, and I know he only has Power Up Punch, and Ice Punch. I probably could have just used fast moves to charge up my charge moves, but I just wanted to get that Poliwrath out of there as soon as I can, so he couldn't use another one. Steelix is actually really good against both of these. Well, Steelix, I guess, charge moves are good against both of the typings for Bronzong, so I wasn't really too scared with this fight either, because I knew for sure his move was Psychic for that Bronzong. Didn't know if he had the second charge move, and I'm able to take him down right there. Can't remember if he has shields left. Oh, he did have one more. And I swap out just the last second, because I'm like, I'm not going to lose my Steelix, not this time. Take my final shield, which was a very, very good decision, but my defense fell from that. Interesting. It always blows my mind, too, that I forget that stat moves can still do effect even if you shield, or if the opponent shields, vice versa, too. And this is where it all ends for me, or all ends for him. I use my Bone Club, and that makes it 2 out of 3 for me. So he really pulled his weight there. It worked out really well. Very good sport. I liked fighting him. He kept it interesting. Okay, so now the roundup is for me is 2-1 in the tournament win-lose ratio, and now I fight off against Kix. And him and I have been, I guess you could call us rivals from the beginning. I used to work at the airport, and he would work there in the building at the same time, and we were there as soon as PvP came out. We were testing it out, and it was a fun time. So we've gotten to know each other a little bit. So this is a good little rivalship. And I'm afraid of that Poliwrath, because after what the other guy knew, I was like, I don't know if he's going to know Ice Punch, and he does know exactly that, and it scares me. So I'm trying to get him down as much as I can, but I don't want to use those shields. Can't remember if he uses his shield here. He doesn't, which is a smart move. He flexes on me so much during this fight with that shiny Alolan Marowak. This is where it gets a little scary, because I know that I decided to go with the disadvantage first, just to have my advantage Pokemon get the upper hand. And I end up we both don't have any more shields left. Both have 2 guys in there. My whole goal was to not use as many charge moves with this, because I wanted to save up the energy, and he flexes on me again with that shiny Mawile. I wanted to keep my charge moves up as much as I can, and this is where I discovered that Dark is not good against Mawile. And that's where things start to go downhill for me, because I'm like, crap, no more shields, trying to get that charge move off as fast as I can, which I do. I ended up taking down his Mawile. And that gives me a first win of the 3. I was getting very scared during that first match. Very scared. I think we both realized that we have fighting disadvantages, with me having Empoleon, Girafarig, and Steelix. So we intentionally both throw out, and he has a lot of steel types too, so we both eventually throw out our fighting types to begin with. It blew my mind how fast he took my Primeape out though. There's that bug. I don't want to switch to Steelix, but I can't use a charge move now. Oh, now I can. That was weird. Couldn't get the charge move off just in time. This is around that I feel bad for myself. I should have shielded that first, that move that Poliwrath used against my Primeape. And because of it, I was a major disadvantage. And I don't know why I used that crunch on that Mawile, since I learned it from the last round. So now I switch over to Earthquake. And he evidently, I think, shields. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Wait, why did I use Crunch again? I just used Crunch. Sorry, I thought I used Earthquake. And he immediately takes my guy down. So that fight went by really, really fast. Now I was getting a little scared. All right, we're tied 1-1. And right off the bat, I'm getting a little too cocky because I know I have an advantage there. And as soon as he swaps out, I'm like, frick, I should have just used... I don't know why I used Nightshade. Oh yeah, there was a glitch. There was something wrong with the charge moves, and I used it. For some reason, I was tapping on the right side of the screen, but for some reason, I think the screen thought my thumb was over the bottom left side of the corner, so it activated my charge. In the long run, I probably could have had us restart the match since that happened. He offered, but I just wanted to see how it goes, which ends up being my demise. From here on out, it's just like hitting back and forth, seeing what each other's going to do. All right. Finally taking one of his down, but I end up using both of my shields, so it's getting really scary for me not being able to use shields or anything. I swap out, hoping that I can get an Earthquake off. Granted, he still has his shields there. I'm hoping that I can bait him with Crunch. Because I think he doesn't shield. Oh, he does shield. Now this burger really gets scary. Because he's using Power Up Punch. So he's getting his attack up a lot, and I'm hoping to get this Earthquake off, but it doesn't get there in time. It was right there too. And he finishes me off very fast. Great tournament.
I was like, wait, do we have to go ahead and take a picture?
So, we just finished. Huge, great cup. Got a lot of people that came out. And of course, Connor over there. Kanban is the victor. He's of course getting his celebratory win there.
Let's be honest, we all saw it coming.
Yeah, we honestly did. But it was a great cup nonetheless. A lot of time on his hands. But it was a good cup. Next month should be interesting. We'll see how it goes with Ferocious. Make sure you guys take part in your own communities, and like this, it's growing. I'm so proud of how much this has come since the very beginning. Stick with it. Find a good community. Find those tournaments around you, and get part of the action.